What's going on, everyone? It's Vegan Cheetah. So I had to make this video. As long as you guys are watching the content, I'm willing to provide it as often as possible. And I really do appreciate it. Within, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 hours, we had 1,000 views on the last video. So I had these ideas in my head when I was making the last video about attraction rather than promotion, but I figured I would make a separate video about it. And before this topic kind of slips from my mind, I do want to touch on it a little bit. That being said, I'm going to digress for a moment and just give you some background information and compare it to what we're seeing here on YouTube with the vegan scene, and hopefully it's going to help me kind of illustrate the picture or the vision that I have for what we should be doing online with our vegan content. So some of you may not know, but I happen to be a drug addict. So I've spent a lot of time in rehab, and I've spent a lot of time in 12-step meetings, whether it be AA or NA, that's Alcoholics Anonymous, Narcotics Anonymous. And one of the main foundations of their meetings, their organizations, is the idea, the concept of attraction rather than promotion. So if you're not an addict, you probably don't know off the top of your head where the local AA meeting is or where the local NA meeting is. And if you're not an addict or an alcoholic, you may not know any other people in recovery outside of your friends and family, simply because they don't promote that they're addicts and they don't promote their meetings. So the reason they based their ideas and their, I guess, way of getting people in the doors on attraction rather than promotion is because when you're trying to promote sobriety to a drug addict or to an alcoholic, it usually doesn't go so well. I can't tell you how many times my friends, my family, my girlfriends, my teachers have tried to force sobriety on me, and I just wasn't buying it. I wanted to do drugs. I wasn't trying to be sober. And the first instinct of somebody that's being affected by a family member or a friend or a loved one that has a drug problem is to shame them and to, judge them and tell them how they should be living. And it usually doesn't work. There are some cases maybe where it does work, but I would say the majority of drug addicts or alcoholics do not get clean or do not get sober with people trying to force sobriety down their throat. So when I'm at these meetings, and I'm not a meeting maker, I'm not involved in the 12 steps, but when I am at these meetings and when I have been at the past, they basically share their stories, okay? So it's a group of guys and women that, maybe sit around a table, they're drinking coffee, and they're sharing their experience, strength, and hope. And they're not, on Skid Row or at the local rescue mission trying to convert people to sobriety, trying to get people to get sober. They wait for people to come in the door that are ready to receive the message and ready to hear their stories. Perhaps some of those drug addicts or alcoholics won't get it the first time around. Most of them usually don't. I've been in and out of the rooms of AA and NA and rehab for 10 years now. But some of them will get the message. And if they don't get it the first time, they'll get it eventually. And if you kind of let people come in, leave the door open. Some people might walk out in the middle of the meeting. They hear something they don't like, or they're not digging it, or they're dope sick. They might walk out in the middle of the meeting. But some people do come back, and they come back frequently, and eventually something catches on and it clicks. You know what I mean? That's what they call having a spiritual awakening, and it clicks. So relating that to online veganism, okay? What I feel that we've been doing is promoting veganism and trying to shove veganism down people's throats. Does it work for some? Yes, it does. Does it work for the majority? I would say there's plenty of videos, plenty of evidence out there to suggest that it is quite possible that we are actually turning more people off to our lifestyle and to our diet than we are bringing them in. And at this point, I feel like a lot of vegan channels are simply preaching to the choir or preaching to very young, impressionable kids. Well, so how do we turn this around? Okay, instead of making celebrity videos, instead of fat shaming people, instead of showing raw graphic footage of the meat and dairy industry and telling people, you are wrong, you're a bad person if you eat meat and dairy products, you deserve to die, you know, all of that garbage, that hate, that aggressiveness. If we could turn all of that, take that energy that we spend into those videos, and I say this with guilt. I've done the same thing in the past. A lot of you have been following me for well over a year now. You've seen my progression, okay, and my transition from militant vegan to realistic vegan, I guess we could call it. If we took all that energy that we put into all that negative content, we could actually start uploading videos and, you know, posting to Instagram, whatever it is you do on social media. We could actually start creating content that's very attractive, okay? That could be in the form of bodybuilding. It could be in the form of, you know, like vlogging with your vegan friends, going out to restaurants. It could be in the form of basically just telling people, you know, your story, you know, why you went vegan, what it's done for you, how it's affected you. And I think that that may come across as passive to some people, but in the long run, people are going to be attracted to, you know, slimmer waists, tighter butts. People are going to be attracted to clearer skin. People are going to be attracted to these beautiful bowls of fruit. And I'm not a huge fruit fan myself, but, you know, some people will be attracted by that. And will they go vegan based on one video you make? Probably not. But if you leave the door open and you don't burn any bridges along the way, which is something the big three, During Rider, Freely, Vegan Gains, have done, I think in the long run, man, we would be quite surprised how much more effective we could possibly be. So as far as social media and YouTube, I think that's what the direction we need to take this in, is trying to come up with creative ways to attract people into our lifestyles, into our diets, into our videos. Show people these really positive aspects. One thing that I'm really trying to do is show people that you can be a consumer, you can be an average everyday American and still be vegan. You don't have to be a minimalist, you don't have to be a fruit hoarder, you don't have to be a cyclist, and you don't have to be super skinny, super lean, and look like you just got out of a fucking German Holocaust concentration camp. You can even vape. You can be a vapor and still be vegan. I think in our society, veganism is consumerism. It's not much more than that. And if we focus on the consumerist aspects of veganism via you know, kind of showing off our vegan products here on our videos, vlogging and going to like vegan restaurants, this kind of thing. And, you know, some people say, oh, that might be kind of fake or whatever. And, you know, some people have faker personalities. I mean, I augment my personality a little bit when I'm on camera. But to show the really positive aspects and really try to illuminate that and draw people in that way, I think, you know, and I don't know for sure, but I think we've seen that what Freely, During Rider, and Vegan Gains and many others are doing, it's simply not working. It's not only causing problems with the wider YouTube and social media community, but it's causing problems within vegans as a community here online. So where are we going to go with this, man? Where are we going to go with this? It's not up to me, it's not up to Freely, it's not up to During Rider, it's not up to Izel Mazard. It's up to all of you. What are you going to do? I see many, many people in my chat that have their own channels. You may have 50 subscribers, you may have 5,000 subscribers. Where are we going to go with this? Are we going to continue down this path that Freely has kind of carved out for us? And we've seen the results. We've seen the results in the backlash from the wider vegan, the wider YouTube community. We've seen the results in the backlash within the vegan community. And when I say community, I mean these like online, you know, communities that we have. Veganism is not a community, and it's not a political movement yet. All of this that I'm saying, it's still not activism. I am talking about social media. What are we going to do to attract people rather than promote our what would you call it? I guess our product. You know, I feel like a lot of vegans under the name of activism, are trying to commodify veganism, commodify their own bodies. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, fuck, dude, I'll sell my aesthetics all fucking day. Go check out my Instagram. I'm probably one of the most aesthetic fucking vegans you've ever seen. But I'm not going to do it in the name of activism. I'm a social media personality, simply trying to raise my profile and hopefully make a career someday. And it's not much more than that for me. My real life activism is going to take place offline. It's going to involve hours worth of research in my local area. It's going to involve collaborating with vegans and non-vegans in my area. That's another thing too that I don't think vegans understand as far as activism is concerned. We have to collaborate with the other side, okay? It's got to be a collaborative effort. There's no way. You have to have bipartisan group effort to really get something done. Let me close the video with this last idea, okay? What if there was a vegan, or what if there was a non-vegan lawyer, perhaps a lobbyist, let's say. Let's say that lobbyist ate meat and consumed dairy products on a daily basis, but he was a lobbyist, he was a good talker, and his job was to go to City Hall, to go to the federal government even, in Washington, and if you had enough political clout, or you had enough influence, or you had enough connections as a vegan, you could connect with somebody like this, and they could write up proposals and try to pass political policies, go to the federal government in Washington and lobby for vegan causes, right? Can you wrap your mind around that for just a second? I know it seems far out there. My question is, are they doing real vegan activism? Are they doing vegan activism that's more effective than whatever the fuck Freely thinks she's doing? What if there was somebody that you could collaborate with that didn't happen to be vegan themselves, but they're willing to take on the cause for whatever, usually money. Money can do a lot. Money does buy a lot. If you could raise enough money to get something like this going, would you collaborate with somebody like that? Would you let somebody lobby and represent a law or a tax break or a tax increase or something that you're trying to get passed, some kind of political change you're trying to initiate? Could you collaborate with somebody that's gonna sit down at the meetings and eat steak in front of you? It's a question to ponder. It's more of a rhetorical question, but I would love to hear your opinions on attraction rather than promotion, and I'd also love to hear your opinions about that scenario that I just proposed to you right now. So thank you so much for watching that video. We are on our way to 9K. Fuck it, we're on our way to 10K, and you guys are doing a really good job engaging with the content. I'm trying to respond to comments as much as I can. I mean, I literally sit on my laptop, watch YouTube videos, and I got my phone in my hand, and I'm reading comments not only on this channel, but also my vlog channel, which I will leave in the link in the description below. So, as always, until next time, may the stars be aligned in your collaborating with non-vegans favor from Earth to infinity.